This is Stuart, and it's Tyler from BS Flying, and today we're reviewing the Popwing. It's the Techone Popwing. It's from Nitro Planes. It comes in the ARF and the kit. So ARF is almost ready to fly. So you need your transmitter, receiver, and battery. And the kit is just the plane and the hardware. So motor mount, control horns, push rods, but no electronics such as motor, ESC, speed control, stuff like that. I got the kit because I was worried, since never buying a Techone before, that the ARF motor wouldn't have enough power or anything. So my setup for the kit, I have the heads-up RC Power Up 400 Sport. So it's the 1800 kV version with an 8x4 propeller on it. I have an 18 amp D-Trim ESC this is from Hobby Parts, and Corona MG929 servos. They're Metal Gear 9-gram servos from Grayson Hobby. They're $10 each. Very good servos. I've had these since I started flying, so a long time. And they still work perfectly. I'm using the FlySky 9X, and the mods, I did some mods to it. I was having some issues with it at first. It was wing rocking. I'd be flying and no wind or anything, no turbulence, and the wings would just start going back and forth like this. It didn't, nothing bad would ever happen. It wouldn't stall after that was happening. I just didn't like the way it looked, so I just cut out. I thought maybe, I guess with wings, these are called wing fences here, so I cut out pieces of foam. This is blue core foam. I don't think it matters what shape it is, just something to give it a little more area, you know? So yeah.
Well, flying for about a month. Flown this plane, and definitely not a very good beginner plane. I mean, it can be easy to fly, but in some spots it will be very difficult. One thing that I noticed while flying it was really difficult for me was when I went to go turn. If you dropped the wing too far, you'd go into a death roll and go and hit the ground. Didn't like that very much. Neither did Stuart.
Yeah, these extra pieces of foam up here on the wing fences actually helped a lot with those stall characteristics a little bit. So it handles like you would expect a plane that was made for combat to handle. You know, it's very maneuverable and everything. Like he mentioned, it does have bad stall characteristics. It would go into a death roll if you don't turn. If you drop a wing, you know, and then don't pull back and get out of it immediately, you just try to kind of fly it sideways, then it does go into a death spin. And a couple times I haven't been able to get out of it, and that's why my nose looks the way it does. But I mean, it's pretty fast. It's very maneuverable. With this setup, I have near unlimited vertical. The durability, it's made out of EPP foam. A couple weeks ago, I was flying at the park and there were some people there. I was trying to show off, and my depth perception is terrible. I hit a pole at full throttle right here on the wing, and all that happened was a little chip out of the wing. I don't know if you can see that there, but it hit the wing, it bounced off of the light pole, and then it went into a death spin, and I recovered it, flew it back, and it was fine. No problems at all. Nothing. It worked perfectly. I relaunched and kept on flying. It was awesome. Oh yes, you had to get that. The motor mount. That's another reason this isn't very good for beginners, is because if you're going to be doing a lot of hard landings, the motor mount drags a little bit on the ground. It's not supposed to. It's supposed to balance on these here, here, and then here there's a thing where the battery's supposed to go. And so the motor mount's not supposed to hit, but in a hard landing, you know, the plane is going to flex down and hit the motor mount. And so multiple times the motor mount this back plate where the motor actually mounts to has come off, and I would re-glue it and then it'd come off, and then I'd re-glue it and then it'd come off in flight, so then I'd re-glue it again and it would come off again, and I got sick and tired of it, and by now there was so much glue on it that, you know, I couldn't glue it back on at the right angle. So what I did was I broke it off, and then I took Dollar Tree foam and cut out kind of a triangle here, a bunch of little triangles, and just glued them together to kind of make my own plate. And this, I've had it like this for 2 weeks. This has worked really well so far. I like it because it has some give to it, so it's not brittle at all. So, and then on the bottom I just did a couple there. You don't need a lot on the bottom. One mod I did forget to mention was the battery strap. The battery is supposed to go down here in the foam, and then that's what this little battery skid plate here is for. But I didn't like the idea of landing with my battery facing down. Also, the size battery that I was planning on using was a 2200 milliamp. Now, recommended for this plane was a 1300 milliamp, but it flies, with my heavier setup, I needed to use a 2200 milliamp to balance the plane correctly. So I cut 2 slots. You have to glue this strap in, and so I just flipped it around the other way so it was coming out of the front here. And now I can put any size battery I want on it as long as CG is balanced. This plane handles so many different weights. I've used anywhere from a 1300 battery all the way up to a 2200 milliamp battery, all 3 cells, 20 Cs. And you can tell it's a little bit less maneuverable with the higher weight, you know, but it's still fun to fly. I've put cameras, I put a 5-ounce camera on this plane. I put bomb drops on this plane and dropped bombs on my friends, little foam ones, you know. So it's a really fun plane that handles a lot of weights. I think we're going to go fly now and show you how it flies. Okay, I've got the 1300 milliamp battery here right now. I'll fly it around a little bit with this, and then I will put the 2200 in. Show you how well it handles different weights. It's really windy outside. I can barely hold the plane, so I'll also show you how well this plane handles wind. Dope. I saved it! Woo! Alright, well, that is a lesson about balancing your propellers.
Nicely done.
Pretty nice.
Trying to show the durability of it.
I should have just let it dive so you could see how it just bounces off the ground, but I mean, yeah, it handles wind good. We're probably over 20-mile-per-hour winds today, and I mean,
Tore that off and spun the prop off a little bit.
anyways, yeah. So the motor mount, you know, it's not really strong enough to stand up to super strong vibrations. Is there anything else wrong with it?
I don't think so.
Cool.
Just spun that off.
There you go. You want to unplug the battery?
Yep.
Well, you're just gonna have to take my word for it, I guess, that it handles the weights really good, because it does. But yeah, it's a great flying plane. Handles wind well. Probably 20 to 30, 20, 30 mile per hour today. So. All right. Thanks for watching.